Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about Mono Black Midrange, also known as Mono Black Demons, in Standard. We're going to talk about card choice in the deck, the overall strategy of the deck, how to play the deck. I stumbled over those words. Let's jump into it.
Darkness imprisoning me. I can't say the rest of the song cause I'll get sued.
So this is the Mono Black Midrange deck in Standard. This deck is attempting to do what every other black-based mid-range deck is attempting to do. Tear apart their opponent's hand, one for one the creatures on the battlefield, get advantage off of something, this time it's Unholy Annex, and then just play very, very powerful, very hard to deal with creatures, often creatures that give you some sort of value advantage. So let's break it down into a couple piles. First off, the hand destruction. This deck goes very deep into the hand destruction suite. It's playing Dreams of Steel and Oil. Dreams of Steel and Oil is a 1-mana sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. Then choose an artifact or creature card from their graveyard. Exile the chosen cards. This is really good against the Oculus deck. But also being able to choose an artifact means they can hit Core Steelcutter, against those decks, being able to hit creatures. It's just an all-around decent card. Duress is a 1-mana sorcery. You reveal their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. This allows you to hit instant sorceries and, again, artifacts and stuff like that. Intimidation Taxis is a 1-mana sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. Exile that card. So it's a little similar to Dreams of Steel and Oil, being able to exile artifact or creature, but Intimidation Tactics has cycle, so you can just kind of cash it in if you don't want it to draw it in the deep late game. And then we're playing Cruel Cause Heist, which is a 2-mana sorcery. Gift a card, where you can promise a gift. If they do, they draw a card, but they draw a card before the rest of this card resolves, which is really matters. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. If the gift was promised, you may cast that card for as long as it remained exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. So again, we get to tear apart our opponent's hand just for 2 mana, and it's any non-land card, which is awesome, and then can get better if we take something that we really, really want to cast. That's the suite of cards we are using to tear apart our opponent's hand. As far as one-for-oneing our opponents on the battlefield, we're playing an Anoint with Affliction. Anoint with Affliction is 2-mana instant. Exile target creature if it has mana value 3 or less. Corrupted doesn't matter, we'll never get corrupted. So this is great exile removal. Means Heartfire Hero doesn't trigger. It means Oculus can't come back. All that stuff. We're playing 4 Go for the Throat. Go for the Throat, 2-mana instant. Destroy target non-artifact creature. Great semi-unconditional removal. There's not many. I literally can't think of a single artifact creature that is really, really good and played in the major decks. So it's often unconditional removal. We're playing Shieldred's Edict. Shieldred's Edict is a 2-mana instant. Choose one. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token of their choice, or each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker of their choice. Very good non-targeted removal, so it can't be stopped by like Snakeskin Veil or Hexproof Thing or something like that. And just all around really, really solid, especially being able to snipe planeswalkers is really nice in a mono black deck. We're playing 3 Cut Down. Cut Down's 1-mana instant. Destroy target creature with total power and toughness 5 or less. Very good against the aggressive decks and when they're swarming you with a bunch of small creatures, especially since we only have to spend 1 mana on it. And then we have our creature suite. We're playing 3 Preacher of the Schism. It's a 3-mana 2/4 with Death Touch. Whenever this creature attacks, the player with the most life or tied for the most life, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. And whenever this creature attacks while you have the most life or are tied for the most life, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So it's a catch-up card if you're behind in life. It's a card advantage card if you're ahead and can really just bury your opponent. It's also a really decent blocker as well. Sorry Revenant is a 3-mana 3/3 with Flying Dash lifelink, and you can exile it from your graveyard and pay 3 life to put a lifelink counter, death touch counter, and flying counter on a creature. So it's really, really good at blocking. Obviously, being able to gain life is great. And then after it's dealt with, being able to exile it from our graveyard and have it continue being a menace, it feels really good. We're playing 3 Shieldred the Apocalypse. It's a 4-mana 4/5 with Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Really punishes our opponent for drawing cards. When we draw cards off of Unholy Annex, it feels kind of good, especially if we have a demon as well. And it being so big-butted makes it a really, really good blocker as well. We're playing 3 Archfiend of the Dross. It is a 4-mana 6/6 with flying, and there's with 4 oil counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from this creature. Then if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. That will almost never happen because we're often attacking with Archfiend. It says whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. So really good. It applies a ton of pressure, and also relevantly for the next card we're going to talk about, it is a demon. A 4-mana 6/6 flyers just feel so good, and the downside almost never happens. And then we're playing Unholy Annex Ritual Chamber, which is a room. When you cast it, you get to pick which room you want to open up. Unholy Annex is the 3-mana room. At the beginning of your end step, if you draw a card, if you control a demon, each opponent loses life and you gain 2 life. Otherwise, you lose 2 life. So if you have Archfiend of the Dross, or when we talk about the lands here in a second, Soulstone Sanctuary, you get to drain your opponent and draw a card. Otherwise, you just lose 2 life, which is also fine. And then the other room, Ritual Chamber, 5 mana. When you unlock this door, create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying. So it is a threat and it draws cards, exactly what a deck like this needs. As far as the lands go, playing a bunch of swamps so that that 4-mana red card that deals damage you equal to non-basic lands doesn't wreck us. It's actually a big draw to playing mono black over the red black deck, even though Fable the Mirror Breaker is excellent. We're playing 4 Soulstone Sanctuary. It taps for a colorless mana, pay 4 mana, and it becomes a 3/3 with Vigilance in all creature types, which includes Demon, so it can make it so Unholy Annex drains. And then we're playing 2 Fountain Port. Fountain Port is a colorless land. You can pay 2 mana and tap it and sacrifice a token to draw a card. You can pay 3 mana and tap it, pay 1 life, create a 1/1 blue fish creature token, and you pay 4 mana and tap it to create a treasure token. It's just something to do with our mana. Mana sinks are really important in decks like this that are just looking for 1/1 and look for very specific openings. Being able to apply pressure with the fishes and then draw cards the following turn just feels good. So again, as far as the main deck goes, what you're attempting to do is 1/1 on the battlefield, 1/1 of your opponent's hand, draw a bunch of cards off of Unholy Annex, and play powerful creatures. It is the most basic magic you could imagine. As far as the sideboard goes, we're playing an additional cut down for those aggressive decks. We're playing more Dreams of Steel and Oil. We've already talked about where that's good, but just essentially more hand destruction and specific hand destruction. Playing for Caustic Bronco. Caustic Bronco is a 2-mana 2/2. Whenever this creature attacks, reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. You lose life equal to that card's mana value if this creature isn't saddled. Otherwise, each opponent loses that much life. And it has Saddle 3. Very good against decks that are going to go long against you and you need more threats against and need more card advantage against, especially if you're able to saddle it. It can actually apply a ridiculous amount of pressure in a deck like this. Playing an additional Shieldred's Edict. We already talked about where that's good. Playing 2 Blot Out. Blot Out is a 3-mana instant. Target opponent exiles a creature or planeswalker they control with the greatest mana value among creatures or planeswalkers they control. Exile really, really matters with this. And even though it's 3 mana, it's still a very powerful effect, especially at instant speed. Very often the thing that costs the most is the biggest threat.
Oh, hello there. I'm glad you made it this far in the video. It probably means you're enjoying what you're watching. And I just wanted to let you know that I have a TCG Player store that funds a lot of the content that you're seeing that, in part, allows me to do this full time. Because, as you can see from my view count, I do not make enough money to be able to actually do this. So, if these videos have helped you in any way, there's a few ways that you can support me. Beyond just like donating money, but things that you can get stuff back on. If you have cards you want to sell, then you should email me at justbottingbiz@gmail.com. Put right here. It's also in the description of every one of the videos. We can figure something out. I can make some offers. Having more inventory is super, super helpful, and you get money. And you can support me. The other way you can support me is by buying from my TCG Player store, which is also linked down below and in the link tree and all of that stuff. Link right here. You should totally check that out. I'll send you some cards, maybe write you a little note if I know that you're from the videos. That's it. Please consider it and enjoy the rest of your video.
Playing a Gix's Command, it's a 5-mana sorcery. Choose to put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 creature against lifelink until end of turn. Destroy each creature with power 2 or less. Return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, or each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. Most of the time we are playing Gis's Command for aggressive decks for the +1/+1 and or destroy each creature with power 2 or less and giving something lifelink. Sometimes we do the sacrifice greatest power, I guess, as well. But this can wipe the board for our opponent and or make us gain a bunch of life and pull us really far ahead against these aggressive decks. Playing an Outrageous Robbery. Outrageous Robbery is a black X instant. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast it. Just very good against decks that are going very, very long and that we're grinding with. Just gives us essentially card advantage off of our opponent's deck. Ghost Vacuum is a 1-mana artifact. We can tap it to exile target card from a graveyard. We can pay 6 mana and tap it and sacrifice this artifact to put each creature card exiled with this artifact onto the battlefield under your control with a flying counter on it. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit in addition to its other types, activate only as a sorcery. So this is Graveyard Hate that we can pay 1 mana for and just forget about. I guess we can't forget about. We have to activate it every turn. And then in the deep late game, we can cash in on all the creatures that Ghost Vacuum has exiled and get those out of the battlefield effects and just create a bunch of 1/1s. So early game Graveyard Hate can apply pressure to the graveyard. Late game, it can be a win condition as well. And we're playing a Filigree Silex. Filigree Silex is a 2-mana legendary artifact. Tap it to put an oil counter on Filigree Silex. We can also tap it and sacrifice it. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters on the Filigree Silex. That's the mode that we're going to use most often. And its last ability is you can tap it, remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control, and sacrifice Filigree Silex. Deals 10 damage to any target. We'll almost never use that, though relevantly, Archfiend of the Dross has those oil counters, which is a thing. This is for dealing with things that cost very little, and for decks that are playing a lot of cards of the same mana cost that are very small, either 0, 1, or 2. It can often be a board wipe and give you a lot of time against tokens, especially out of the Cutter-esque decks or even mono red. But that is Mono Black Midrange in Standard. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.